Okay guys, welcome to the video here. What I have for you guys today, it's kind of like a workaround for the layers on the pad. Now what happens is when we are on a program, so let me get here to the program edit, and let's say we want to layer a few sounds. So I have on this pad right here, I have 3 sounds. We can have a look at it right here. So I have the gun snare, a mouth sound, and which is this one, and I have a percussion sound. Now we layer these sounds so we can kind of get a new sound, right? But the thing is that you only have up to these parameters plus these ones, so you can play with the start and end of the sample. So you have a couple of things that you can do to each sample on each layer on that pad. But what happens is when you get down to the filter section, you can only apply the filter, and you can only apply modulations and the amp envelope to the whole pad and not to each individual sound. So it's a bit limited in that way. So seeing that this is the default mode for it to work, this is expected behavior on the MPC. What you can do to work around this is actually, instead of having the 3 sounds in one pad, what you do is you separate the sounds into 3 pads or into 4 pads, and you use a feature that's called the simultaneous play. So it's this one. If you go to the master on the program, you have this tab right here, which is the simultaneous play. And what you do basically, if you have 3 to 4 sounds, so you can only use 4 sounds to play a pad simultaneously. What it is, you choose a pad that has nothing in it, or it might have a sample already loaded into that pad. But what I do basically is this: I chose this pad right here, and each time I trigger that pad, which has no samples inside. So there are no samples on this pad. But I chose to trigger pad 2, 3, and 4, which are my samples that I have on this pad right here. And you can see it right there. So these 3 samples, I've put them onto these 3 pads. And this pad right here, which contains no sample, it's triggering these 3 pads. Now it's a workaround, because what allows us now to do is to actually just record 1 MIDI note. You don't need to record 3 notes right there. So you don't need to record 3 notes. You only record 1 note. And with the sounds into separate pads, it now gives you the ability of going into the program edit and actually having a filter for each sound. You can get down to the filter section, and now you have a filter for one sound, you have a filter for the other sound, and a filter for the other sound. So it gives you more options instead of using the layering section right there, like this. Let's undo that. Instead of using the layering section, which is a bit limiting, what you're going to do is going to use the simultaneous play to trigger 3 to 4 pads at the same time. Okay, you can even have 5 pads playing at the same time, because you can have this pad with a sample inside it and then trigger 4 more sounds. So you can have like 5 pads or 5 sounds triggered at the same time. You have more tools to play with the sound, to edit the sound with. You even can go into the effects and have an effect there for each pad and each individual sound that's triggered by that pad right there. And that's by using the simultaneous play. So I think it's a huge workaround. It actually gives you way more flexibility than to be using those velocity, sorry, those layers right there. The only thing it won't allow you to do is to flatten the pad now. That's the new option on the MPC. It won't allow you to flatten that pad into a whole new sound. But what you can do is basically you just resample it. So once you get to a sound that you like, you just go to the sampler and you resample the sound basically. That's done. And you can put it onto a new pad. You can put it onto this pad right here. Keep. It's not chopped up right. Sample edit right there. There you go. So you resample it instead of flatten it. You just resample the sound and put it onto a pad. It's easy. I want to go ahead and just kind of edit the sound a bit more. So I have this sound right here. I'll put a delay on it. So let's go here to my Akai. Close that. Let's go into this sound. Let's get a reverb here. And that's basically it. You can come here to this one, close that, go into the filter section there. And basically that's it. You know, it gives you loads more flexibility onto layering sounds instead of using that feature right there for the layers on each pad. This is very good for some options, not so good for others because it won't allow you to actually use these features here for each layer, and it won't allow you to use these features for each layer. So bit limiting right there. And the workaround, I think it's a perfect workaround, to be honest. It's just using the simultaneous feature where you can just tell that this pad is going to trigger that same pad plus 4 more pads. Okay, and that's simultaneous play. And this, obviously, the one of the cool things about it is that you only have to record one MIDI note. So you even though you have separate pads playing the sounds, you will only need to record one MIDI note. That was it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.